and how to get the job done. What do you make of it? I'd like to get your opinion. Do you think it is healthy, for the current governor to carry a cabinet from the previous government, into this new dispensation?
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
I will start by saying that the power given to the governor is to the extent that he can decide who becomes his cabinet commissioner.
Okay.
He can choose from anywhere.
All right.
And he can choose anybody he likes. That's the kind of power he has. And he will be held responsible for whatever outcomes we have at the end of the day. Now, if you look at the profile of the current governor that we have in Rivers State, he's not, quote unquote, a hardcore politician.
What do you mean by hardcore politician?
He's coming from the civil service.
Okay.
He's not a regular politician. Maybe because of his work as a civil servant, he has worked with politicians, and at some point he was found worthy to fly the flag of the party, and eventually he won the election resoundingly. Now, you don't expect him to come in and function the way a regular politician would have.
Okay.
Now, because he can be said to be, again, quote and unquote, new as a politician, it is now that we can call him a politician. He needs, if I were him, I would do exactly the same. I would not be in a hurry to bring in new people. People who are not as informed as myself.
In political matters?
Yeah, in political matters. Because you want to rely on the experiences that people have garnered over the years to be able to move forward. And if you look at his approach, even the call for the immediate past governor not to be too far away from him, it's just so that he can continue to leverage the experience of the former governor.
Now, I want to pause you now. Sorry about that. When you say new, some may not agree with you, because I just remembered that he was also a part of the former governor's team. He was the state's accountant general. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if he was part of the former governor's team, can you not say that's somewhat politics, being political?
A politician is different from a civil servant.
But he resigned. I was told he would have resigned.
He resigned just because of the election.
Okay, all right then.
He resigned just because of the election. Now, as a civil servant, forget about some of the things that happen in our climb. He's not supposed to. He's supposed to be guided by civil service rules in everything that he does.
Okay.
So, I think it is right to profile him not as a politician until now.
All right.
And what he is doing, to my mind, is to see how he can use people who are experienced, use already existing systems and processes to at least start. Maybe in the future, the need will become very obvious for him to do away with some people, bring in new people and all of that. But for now, That's what any reasonable person should do.
Now, I've got a question. Are we in political season or are we in governance season? Because you keep saying he needs the politicians around. I'm of the opinion, as a management expert, you would agree with me that this is the time where we need governance and not necessarily politics. So should we not be having people who would be able to govern?
Let's look at it this way.
Okay.
You have a football team like Manchester City.
I would have loved if you used Arsenal, but go ahead.
Yeah, maybe Arsenal.
Okay.
So, but let's use Manchester City for purposes of drawing proper analogy. Manchester City won the league.
Okay.
And won a treble. Just like PDP won the league in Rivers State.
You can say
so.
Yeah.
Now, in the new season, if you see a completely new set of players for Manchester City versus the people who won this league, I'm sure you would not have so much confidence in that team. But if you see these same people who won the league, there's the tendency for people to begin to speculate that they win it again, because these are winners. Now, in the arena of politics, I understand why people would call for a change of guard, bring new people, and all of that. But what do we mean by new people? We're talking about one united political family. We're talking about people who campaigned on the mantra of consolidation.
All right.
We're talking about people who said they're going to continue from where the previous administration stopped. And I believe that it is because Rivers people believe that the past administration did well. That's why they gave the mandate to the PDP to continue with what they have been doing.
Okay.
And again, when we look at the issue of transition in Rivers State, you will agree with me that our case has not been like that of Lagos, in a sense. In one sense, it's the same, because Rivers State has always had PDP government.
All right.
Apart from the period between 2013 and 2015, when Amechi, as governor, defected
to the
APC.
All right.
Yeah, but in 2015, the PDP still won. In 2019, the PDP won. In 2023, the PDP won. And before that all these periods, the PDP always won. But the transition was not smooth. And that's the difference. Now, what a smooth transition wherein one government takes over from another and is determined to continue from where the previous government stops is what we can refer to as leveraging the power of continuity and consolidation.
Okay, we have a commercial break coming up, but this is what I think. I do agree with your analogies, right? But if you also want to look at it from the political angle, there are other people who also played a part in the consolidation agenda, right? They also campaigned, they also played major roles. Are those people, if you say you want to look at it and you want politicians, since he's not a politician, are those people not eligible to be a part of the system, given that you're saying the politicians who campaigned and who are experienced should be a part of the cabinet? I'll be back and I'll ask you that question after this commercial break. Do stay tuned.
Manchuria Info.
Welcome back to Hard Facts.
All right, it's almost the bottom of the hour, and I've been talking to Dr. Gift Worlu, who's a lecturer in management or Department of Management, University of Port Harcourt, and also once transition local government chairman Obiakpo. And we've been talking about continuity in governance in River State. I'm looking at how it affects River State and how it affects you and I, because governance is supposed to be for the people, by the people, of the people. All right, back to you, Dr. Gift. You were saying before the break that as a civil servant that he was, coming into politics or coming into governance, he needs politicians to surround him. And I asked the question, is it not time for governance as politics time is past? You said, we still need the politicians. So let's go with what you've said. Are they not other people in the PDP who campaigned, who also were part of the commissioners are likely to be 23 in number, representing each of the local government areas. If he decides to do more, I never can tell. But the commissioners are likely to represent the 23 LGAs. The question then is, should he not have thought about the other people who also played a role, since you're saying he should come from a political angle?
I think that when we ask questions like this, we need to be careful what questions we ask.
Okay.
If we ask the wrong questions, we are most likely to get the wrong answers.
Okay.
If we ask the wrong questions, we are more likely to get
the wrong answers.
Answers, yes. Now, I see a lot of cognitive bias in the way people ask questions. Yeah, so what I mean by that is that people have their minds already made up. So whatever question they're asking is because maybe they want to pull the other person down or they want to lift somebody up.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be that way. We should ask very objective questions and expect objective answers. And then when we see information, we should analyze it with an open mind. Now, in your opening statements, you said that the governor has appointed 14.
About 14 from my calculations,
yes. Yeah. And you also said that about 10 of them.
442.
Yeah, people that, somehow had a stint with the former government, the last administration. I would say that all of them, all those people that you see there, had a stint with the
former government.
Yes, because they were playing one role or the other. It's not everybody that will be commissioner or any position that is very visible. There are people who function in the party. There are people who function in local governments. There are people who function as PAs to people, and so on and so forth. There are people who function as even financiers of party. There are people who do social media work for the party. They don't hold any office in government or party that you know of. They may not be chairman of the party in their local government or whatever, but they do one thing or the other for the government and the party. And then those other 4 out of the 14, I would say, are people who have been found worthy because of their contribution, in course of what was going on.
So the question then again is...
And if you look at that number, 4 out of 14, that's about 29%. And that's significant, if you ask me. 29% is significant for new people. And when we look at the fact that there are other appointments that will be made, there are so many offices that have not been filled.
Yes, I agree. Special advisors and all of that.
And we never know who will fill them. So if we at this point begin to run with the conclusion that all the people who are going to work with this man perhaps are old people, that's not correct.
No, we've not said so. We're talking about what we've seen. Yeah. And you said that he has to have politicians, core politicians.
Yes. And I give you
my question is as a result of what you've said.
It's not just politicians.
Okay.
People who have been in government. People, these people that we're talking about now, they are politicians because they have been in government. They have held one.
And then I asked the question.
Not civil servants.
Then I asked the question: are they not other people in the PDP
Those people
who have been in government as well?
You already have about 29 to 30% of the appointments.
Okay,
and that's significant. And I've also told you that there are other positions that will be filled in the coming days and weeks, and it will still be filled by people who have one way or the other contributed to the success of the party.
Which brings me to my next...
People who are believed to have something to offer to make the government succeed for the people of Rivers State.
Which brings me to my next question. When you started talking, you mentioned that the governor has the right to hire whoever he feels pleased with, and that's his right according to how it is in the Constitution. Especially if the person is not an ex-convict or the person has not committed any crime. But then the question is, should it be about people who have worked for the PDP? Because I asked this question earlier, is it time for governance or is it time for politics? Should it be about people who are loyalists of the PDP, or should it be about people who have done something meritorious, some people who have got merit in terms of choosing cabinet members? Remember, the cabinet members will be the ones who will go out there and bring to life the ideas of the governor.
I think I just said it before you asked the question, and I didn't know you were going to ask this question. I told you that, and this is what happens all over the world.
Okay.
Is standard practice all over the world.
Okay.
You want to bring in people who share your vision, first of all. And those are the party people. These people were with you during the campaigns. They know what your vision is.
Okay.
They agreed to it. They campaigned for it. They voted for you. And they convinced other people to vote for you and all of that. So you have to make them part of what you're doing because they share your vision. Then there are other people who may not be even party members. They may not be politicians at all. They may not be card-carrying members of any political party. But they have something to offer that can make the state better. You can bring them in. There are other people who may be card-carrying members of other political parties.
All right.
Yes. But in the end, it's all up to the governor who he wants to bring on board. And then, like I said before, he takes responsibility. If he brings all members of his family and they give us the health care system that is top-notch, they give us the educational system that is top-notch, they give us everything that we ask for, I'm sure nobody will quarrel. But maybe because of what we call the principle of inclusivity, quota system, carrying people along and all of that, one is not expected to do that. But the truth of the matter is that if you have a football club, for example, and all the members of the football club in Nigeria, for example, come from one state or from one family, and they're able to win the World Cup for us, I'm sure nobody talking about where they come from. Yeah, versus if you had people all states and then they go there and humble. So for me, what's important is I was talking about asking the right questions. How will these appointments at the end of the day bring about?
We'll get there.
Yes, those should be the questions we should be asking.
We'll get there. Now, the question I want to ask you now is, you've just talked about, questions I've asked, I've not even used my questions from what you've said. I'm asking you questions from what you've said. You also said, once again, going back to him not being experienced in the politics, in politics generally, was that why he made the statement he made on Sunday?
He may be experience in politics, but before now he was not a politician.
So the question yet again, is that why he made the question, the comments yesterday where he said the former governor should not go too far, given that he might be defecting to a new party?
You know, the last time I was here, this issue came up. And I told you that even the president of the country had told the outgone president to please not go too far. The truth of the matter is that whether anybody likes it or not, if things are done properly, and especially when you have a situation where the incumbent is of the same party as the immediate past, there should be some measure of mentorship. It's very important.
But you applied for the job.
No, listen.
It's believed you should have
you applied for the job.
Yeah.
And when we talk about mentorship, if it is done in business, if it is done in Nigeria Info, nobody quarrels.
Okay.
Nobody raises an eyebrow.
Okay.
Yes. Dayo used to be here doing hard facts. Who knows? Maybe you still have a way of touching base with him, asking him a few questions and all of that.
Okay.
There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. But when people do it in politics, maybe because of the way politicians will now make a statement out of it. Because in your own case, now nobody has heard you say that you are still talking with Dayo and trying to find one or two things from him.
Okay.
Yeah, politicians will say it, maybe because of the nature of their kind of work. And then people will now want to blow it out of proportion to say that it means that, oh, maybe he's bootlicking the other person, or there's godfatherism at play and all of that. But for me, I see it purely as mentorship, because there are certain issues that will confront you. And then because you are new on the role, if you want to resolve it by yourself, it will take a longer time. But if you touch base with somebody who has walked that road before, it makes it easier. And you achieve better.
So for us to be able to achieve better in the state, we need to somehow revolve the state around the people who have been in governance for quite some time. Is that all? Some of them, so to say?
Yeah, some of them. You must have some of them, because those people come with the benefit of experience. They come with the benefit of hindsight. They have seen some of the things that will happen now are things that have happened before. What you can call traditional issues. There may be emergent issues, new issues that will come up, and all of that. So you need experience, you need expertise, you need education. And like I said, the current governor of Rivers State, he has a lot of experience when it comes to civil service issues. And then working with people who are politicians, people who have been in government as politicians before now. They will help him with the politics side of governance.
Okay.
And then in the end, there are also new people who are in the cabinet and in the government who will also come with their own new ideas about how things can be done. And don't even forget that even those new people, they too will have to learn.
All right.
Yeah, because you see, it is not for nothing that in the National Assembly, for example, there is a rule that you cannot be the president of the Senate or maybe House of Reps, for example, Speaker, if you are not an old timer. The reason is that if you bring a what I would call a newbie, that newbie will have to learn, and the business of government will have to wait while he's learning.
All right.
But if you bring somebody who has been there before, somebody like Akpabio now as Senate President, he has been in the Senate before. He was chairman of House Senate Committee on Appropriation and all of that. He has been a governor, right? So when certain issues come up, he knows how to handle them, and then we will achieve better results.
Okay.
But if you bring a completely new person, then there will be problem. Even now, the current National Assembly that we have, a lot of people are thinking that there may be issues because many of the people who are there now are new people. But like I said, there are certain that are standard practice all over the world.
All right. So
if you look at America, for example, you see that some people have been in the Senate or what they call their Congress for upwards of 40 years because the system believes and understands the power of experience.
All right, then. So you're saying experience is good for governance to be able to trickle down to the people of Rivers State.
Exactly, to deliver on the... See, there's a vision in Rivers State, the new Rivers vision.
Yes.
That vision is the basis for the current...
Now, the question I want to ask you, based on experience, what we've seen in Rivers State, compared to the resources that we have, you're once again a lecturer in the Department of Management. Would you say we have utilized our resources in Rivers State judiciously in the past years? Because you're saying experience and we need them in governance, but I mean, what kind of experience are those? That's the question I'm asking now.
When it comes to the issue of resource utilization, I'm somebody that is given to putting figures on the table and crunch them. Yeah. Now, if you say, for example, that you have naturally in economics talk about unlimited prioritize, you have to have a scale of preference, and then you have to be economical in the way you use resources, and then you also have to build in sustainability into whatever you are doing. Don't forget the sustainable development goals that the United Nations and all countries, including Nigeria, have signed up onto. Now, I think that the question as to how resources have been used and what they have been used for, at some point will be answered by the people who are in government. And then we also have to understand that the way government is done, many of us just think that a governor can just wake up and say, I put money into this, and it is done. No. The governor goes to the assembly to ask for approval. I want to do this because I believe that this will help uplift the living standards of Rivers people, for example. And then the assembly members who are drawn from the 23 local governments of Rivers State will sit, look at it, convince themselves that truly it is something that will be of benefit to Rivers people, and then they now give approval for the governor to spend that money.
Some people will argue with you on that, but
no, that's what it's supposed to be.
Supposed to,
and if that is not happening, like if, for example, that didn't happen, then the question should be asked differently.
All right,
and sometimes it will be the assembly members who gave the approvals that will answer those questions.
Let's take some calls now.
Yeah, but you see, when it comes to how monies have been spent, again, we have to take administration by administration evaluation to be able to arrive at any reasonable conclusion.
Because you say their experiences are needed, and I was just only trying to ask what kind of experiences do they have, giving our resources from 13% derivatives to the number of the amount of money that comes in at the end of the month from FAC to IGRO over the years since 1999. Have we been able to utilize our resources very well to say that these experiences from the politicians are needed in this administration? I've not called out the number, as can see your calls already. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003 on WhatsApp. You can send us a message. 0809-030-6416 is the number. I'm going to read some messages. Let's see. Okay. This one says Wike succeeded because he consulted Sir Dr. Peter Odili. Take a look at all the elders around Wike. These are men who are co-politicians, and he often consults them. So if the current governor made such statement, it means he wants to toe that line. I know people often yearn for new faces, including me, but we must be careful while we yearn for new faces in governance. Fortune from Port Harcourt. I've got Sutoye from Chuba. Let's listen. Sutoye, good evening to you.
Yes. Good evening, Kalada.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yes, I want to greet your fair guest. Not that he's fair in complexion. No.
I understand you. Just go ahead. There's no time. There's no time. Go ahead.
His analysis. Yes. This is a clear fact. He has cleared all my questions and all my curiosity and all my everything I had in question to say. Right. And I believe others also who may be having grudges against the present governor and the outgone governor. You see, Kalada, just like your guests have said, this is a matter of nurture. This is a matter of somebody wanting to do more. Anybody who doesn't want to do better, anybody who is not wishing the people of Rivers State or who doesn't wish good for himself will not do what the governor has done.
All right, then.
The governor wants to know. The governor wants to do better. That is why he has gathered the courage of, lending the assistance of the outgoing governor. Okay. We believe that the outgoing governor has done credibly well. And we wish somebody of that nature to come back to Rivers State. That is why.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tony. Thank you very much. I've got to go to another caller now. Ima from Ebonyi State, welcome. Let's hear you.
Yes, Canada, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Good evening to our guest.
Good evening.
As our guest was analyzing, he said that he has the right to choose those that are to work with him because he would be held responsible for his choice. And I'm saying somebody that is under immunity clause that cannot be questioned, arrested or taken to court, is it not proper for him not to use that word, who responsible?
Well, you have you have the civic responsibility to hold him responsible. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have the civic responsibility to hold government accountable. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You can't hold the governor is under immunity clause. You cannot arrest him.
No, you can't. But you can hold him responsible.
You can't question him. Who holds him responsible?
All right.
That's my question.
All right. Thank you, Ima. I've got Clinton from Bori. Clinton, good evening to you.
Good evening, Kalada.
Welcome, then.
Good evening to the doctor in the house.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, I listened to him carefully.
Quickly, please.
Dr. Worlu was a lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, and I heard of his contribution in the last election, what he did at the University of Port Harcourt, the data pack.
All right.
So I want to believe that he is telling Rivers people that he is not qualified enough to be a commissioner. So what they are telling us again is that consolidation means recycling the same people all over again at the detriment of other party members or other expatriates outside there. So what I think, my own opinion is that the governor is handicapped because, according to Dr. Gibbon, he's inexperienced because he was a civil servant. So the former governor is installing his own cronies in his government to checkmate him. That's what I think. Thank you.
Do you agree? You want to comment on that?
You know, people are entitled to their opinion.
All right.
But the truth of the matter is that if the governor decides to bring in all new people to work with him,
all right,
and there is failure, I'm sure these people will still turn around and say, oh, it's because he brought in new people. I gave you the analogy of football. You want to retain some of your good hands. We're talking about one policy. If we had, you see, the situation in Rivers State is likely to be different or is different from what you will find in Abia State, for example, where the governor is from another party. But in Rivers State, it's the same party that won.
So there's that friendship, that handshake.
These people are party members.
All right.
They are also entitled to positions where they are found worthy.
All right.
Where it is believed that they will be able to deliver. But like I said, the governor has only made 14 appointments or so. There are several other offices, and I believe that many new people will come in. But until then, let us not judge the government by saying that, or the governor by saying that, oh, he's bringing people from the old administration. Those people are members of the party. They are Rivers people. They are qualified. And so why not?
All right. Dr. Gift Worlu, that's where I would have to stop you because we've got another commercial break coming up, and that's where we end the conversation. But thank you very much for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
All right. Always. Then you stay tuned. We'll continue this conversation open season, I promise. But for now, the news update at 4, and after that, another conversation. Do stay tuned.